Roadman it's a gender neutral term I'm using. I'm trying to make it a gender neutral term, and it's like a term you can use to somebody as like a mark of respect. "10 seconds more! 10 seconds more! Push-ups! 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 Push-ups!" The goal is to ride 200 kilometers, getting that average speed up. Sami, Sauri, welcome to the Roadman Cycling Podcast.
Thank you. Nice to be here today.
Did I get the pronunciation on your name correct?
Yeah, very correct.
Yeah, I done some work on that. That sort of professionalism doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah, sorry. I'm super pleased to be in this podcast today and happy to talk to you. I just have a quick question.
Go for it.
Why is it called Roadman and not Roadwoman?
This is starting off as a tough podcast. Roadman it's a gender neutral term I'm using. I'm trying to make it a gender neutral term, and it's like a term you can use to somebody as like a mark of respect. So some of the stuff you've done, some of your crazy adventures, you'd get to the end of them, you'd say, okay, now you're a roadman. So that's kind of the idea with it. So it's because it's in its sort of infancy as well. What we will do is probably branch and have Roadman division and then Roadwoman division at some point. But for now, we're using it as gender neutral because we have a nice mix. Like behind the podcast is our coaching company. And I'd say we're 50-50 male, female in the coaching company as well. So we do try and keep that gender mix. And we hired our first full-time staffer as well, who is a woman as well. So we're super happy with that.
That's interesting. Okay, that was my main question. I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, before I forget and we go on the road and to talking about adventure, let's just, yeah.
Sami, your Instagram page is it's so cool. If anyone doesn't follow you on Instagram, I'll link it up in the description and stuff below. But it's just such a cool Instagram page. It just makes me want to ride my bike and explore and make movies and tell stories and go surf. And it just looks like everyone's life looks amazing on Instagram, but your life looks extra amazing on Instagram.
Thank you. I mean, it was not planned, I promise. It's just it comes along, naturally. So yeah, I don't know what to say to that.
It seems like researching the podcast, and I followed you for a little bit. I'll get into it in a little bit when I kind of came across you, but it seems like you've had a very changeable relationship with the bike from trying racing, filmmaking, and now would it be fair to say the bike is nearly like a tool for adventure for you?
Yeah, totally like that. I mean, I started, let's call it street fixing or like street cruising, like a fixed gear bike. 11 years ago, mini handlebar, no brakes, go crazy up and down Barcelona.
Real hipster.
Yeah, real my bike was yellow and then started to be pink and blue and all these things like with Het 3 pink wheels on the front and and then after that I just did some bike messenger, this thing's called Alley Cats, which was like a fun race, let's say, but it started to get serious, and then I tried as well some crates, and it actually went well, so I got my first sponsor, and it was just like a buckle, you naturally got integrated into this new world for me, and I loved it. I raced it Red Hook and I can't remember 2000 something for the first time, which I nearly died.
Red Hooks looks so crazy.
The first time I did it was New York, straight into the biggest one, and I remember doing 3 laps on qualifications, and I went out and I was coughing and I was completely red, and I was like, why am I like this? I don't understand. It's because I've never trained before. I never did an afro before. So. But yeah, from there, I mean, I use the bike as exactly as to move around and to sort of travel. Obviously, I as well be this like professional cyclist. So I also even went to Berlin, which was a bit more strict for me and is what I needed on that time, and signed up for a American crit team called LA Sweat. And then just like, after that, I got the opportunity to go and see and explore Route 66 with the Thereabout guys. And I was like, this is opportunity one from never, so I have to go and do it. And from there, I saw the bike as exactly as a tool of adventure and a tool even for work and for exploring, basically, in another way. So everything sort of switched. I wanted to compete because I kind of like it, and gravel is fun, and DK and all these things are really cool. But I don't know. I like to just explore, and the bike takes me to everywhere.
I've had so many. Most of the guests on the podcast are World Tour guys or World Tour girls, and when I started out cycling, I suppose that's what I gravitated towards, starting to think, okay, well, I have to try and, as we say, cat up, go from cat 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. Okay, now I'm 1. Now I got to go and elite amateur somewhere, and then I got to get a pro contract. And because in my head, I loved cycling so much, and the only way to make cycling like my whole life was, I thought at the time, was to get a World Tour contract. And I think, that's the only way you can get paid from cycling. But I'm not sure if this is a developing area or my awareness of it is developing. But since kind of abandoning that dream of going World Tour many years ago, then I set out and said, well, what else can I do to make cycling such a huge part of my life, but not necessarily be a World Tour rider? And there's just so many other avenues to do this in. And you seem to have carved this out super well, that you don't have any of the bad shit from World Tour, like having to travel and race and all that stuff, but you still have to ride your bike. Train, that's the worst part.
It's brutal.
Training's no fun.
I actually wanted to sign up for a little road race, which I don't even have a road bike right now, just to challenge myself again and to sort of get into an event that I didn't do any this year. And I'm training, and I'm like, why did I put myself into hell again? But training, like a tiny training, like, okay, 1 hour and a half, 2 days, 3 days, 4, and that's it.
So you have a picture on your Instagram. I was flicking back, doing some research for the podcast, and it might be the coolest picture in cycling history. You towing a surfboard on your bike.
Well, this film is coming along. Velocio is involved, which I was really happy to get them.
Awesome. They're so amazing.
Yeah, especially for women's cycling, I think they're one of the best shows right now in the market. And so I wanted to work with them since a long time. So I thought it was really cool to bring them on a project that is not just about cycling, because they also reach out to all these amazing women around the world that, they're sort of like capable for everything. So basically, this is a film that's coming along. I just wanted to tease a little bit the people. But yeah, I'll just give a little resume. It's an island on the middle of the Atlantic. It's one of the steepest islands. I've not seen a road cyclist on the whole entire trip because it just goes or up or down. And I think there was one day that I did 23 Ks and 1,400 meters of climbing. So I didn't really even see a downhill. It was just up. And yeah, it's just, I just wanted to combine basically two sports. And I love surfing. I've surfed since a long while. And when I got back to it, I thought that the best manner and the easiest way to do it is just combining the two of them. So
did you have to make the trailer, or was it pre-bought?
No, long ago with Chris McLean, which is a really cool photographer. He invited me to his shooting in Asturias here in the north of Spain. And he brought these two trailers, and And basically I was like, oh, this is super cool. I've made myself a board from some friends, another one, not the one I was having the other day, and I just put it up, and we just surfed 3 days in the north of Spain. And from there I took the name and I bought it myself straight away. I did like a last minute buy and last minute trip as well, and it was amazing. It's super cool, this trailer.
And when's the video coming out?
I think it will be, let's say, midsummer, August. We're sort of working towards it.
Are you? Is it a painful editing process at the moment?
Well, I have 4 films to edit. And my computer just cracked today. I'm happy that it's working right now, but it's not working with anything else. So today is like the hell of a typical day that nothing really works. But yeah, it is. But it's fun to see yourself actually on the other side. It's kind of cool.
So the first time I came across you was, I think, the Outskirts movie. You rode across Route 66, and I think there's a beginning scene, and I'm not sure if it's Gus Morton or someone else narrates it, but they're basically talking about, this is a film about exploration, about adventure on the most iconic road in the world and the people along the way. Like, that must have been a crazy trip. What is it, like 4,000 kilometers, 3 time zones, like 8 states?
Yeah.
How did you get involved in that, and what was that like?
I mean, it's funny because I think I've done 12 or 13 states in total, and in that, from that beginning of the trip till the time I came back here, because we also road ride, and then after that I was in a training camp and all this, so it was quite an intense trip. It's really hard because it's not like my favorite one. It was a hell of a trip as well because of personal situation stuff. But I mean, I got to see America from side to side, so I was really lucky. And I think the opportunity that on the time Gus gave me, it was really cool, because after that we went to Trans-Labrador Highway as well. So I was, I don't know.
But it seems like you're getting thrown in at a pretty hardcore level, like in the one out was Trans-Siberian Highway. That one was
Trans-Labrador Highway.
Yeah, that one was crazy. Like, and you're with Lachlan Morton, who's obviously a world tour rider now. And
no, the Trans-Labrador Highway was Dan Craven, which is Dan Craven, and no, I can't say his name. The other guy who is also from Jelly Belly, Jacob Rathy.
Yes.
And Gus Morton. So I'm literally just, but we didn't spoke about this before with Gus. It's like, yeah, you come, like we need a female. And I tried to search another female because I was producing that at the same time. And I was also doing some stills, like helping photography and stuff. So, but I didn't thought, I'm just getting myself into 3 ex-pro cyclists that just want to go fast and enjoy an adventure on a 680 kilometers gravel road, and not like a smooth gravel road, kind of like a super rocky gravel road. But, I went and did it because, I as I say, I don't close myself into opportunities. If it's hell, it's hell, and that happens afterwards, right? And it was not a good decision, that's for sure.
Because it resulted, if I remember, it's a while since I've seen the documentary, but there was a little bit of tension between you and the main character, Gus Morton.
Yeah, he was my ex, my ex-couple. Do you say it like this? Like my ex?
Oh, is your ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So
yeah,
you were ex at the time, or you were together at the time?
We were together at the time.
Okay.
Like same Route 66 and then Trans-Labrador, we were together actually.
Yeah. Like it seems like there was a lot of tension around your fitness level versus theirs, but it was like an unrealistic expectation that you were going to be at the same level as ex-professional riders.
Yeah, plus there was a bit of machismo in there because I was the only woman into 6 men, so it was pretty hard to handle at the end of the trip. I felt like very let's say, it was the only time in my life I actually felt that I was the woman there, and I was like just working for them, because I was also producing, which is the hardest part of a film. let's say. So it was like all these bits and pieces. So I had, a little bit of ups and downs with all of them.
So we actually got to watch the relationship fall apart live on camera.
And he didn't really put all of it, but there was a lot of the hell of the times film it. I wish he would have done it, because it's you can, if you're with a couple, you can have, and you do a big trip like that, like I'm saying, like a month trip. It's not like a little. You need to really communicate properly, and you need to really understand each other very well. If you do not even do not even try it, because it's gonna go like hell.
But in retrospect, was it still a good experience, especially the Route 66 one? I know maybe it's a straight road. Like I've driven parts of Route 66, and like at times it's a very busy road, and maybe that didn't make for the best cycling at times.
Yeah, I mean, the last 500 Ks, pretty much, we needed to jump all the time in the highway because there was no road anymore. So it's a road completely on decline that doesn't exist. That was that like 60s, 70s Route 66, beautiful like little roads and motels. It's just a highway now. So we had to jump. I remember there was a day we did like 280 Ks at 31 average, because it was just literally highway straight forward, and that was earplugs or music and just follow a wheel. There's nothing you could do.
So a lot of your content and storytelling, I would describe it as almost aspirational for definitely a lot of my audience that listen to the podcast. They're stuck in work, they're living in Ireland, UK, across America, and they just want to break free, and they want to get out on their bikes, and they want to have these big adventures, but it's something that's so far out of their comfort zone that it's just not easy for them. So I suppose, is there, do you think, a best starting point or advice you would give someone like that if they want to plan this big epic? How do they get started?
Well, I always say, like, in most of my films and stuff, like, no matter what you wear or who you are, right, like, or what bike you have. Like, I see people doing adventures with like a bike that costs like nothing. It doesn't matter whatever it costs, it matters that the bike is right, you're comfortable with it, and you just get out and do it. I never recommend to start with a Route 66. That's for sure. After I was coming from like fixed gear racing, like super short and track, and I throw myself into Route 66. And I remember doing even a photo of like the first 200 Ks in my life on that trip. But I just say, like, start tiny, like do little trips, manage your gear however it's more comfortable for you, try everything. I've tried a million bikes, I've tried a million gears, and it's just a matter of like, what is the best for you in your comfort zone. Don't go out and do 3 peaks, because maybe that's not what you want, You can do flat roads if you can, or if you are in a flat place, or the other way around. And, start with your comfort zone and don't go way too out there, and then progress bit by bit.
And obviously you've got a chance to ride in some pretty crazy places. What's the kind of the bucket list, top 1, top 2 places that you think people have to get out and experience?
Good question. I mean, Spain is pretty cool. I think each country has its own little corners. I've been traveling all over, and I've discovered Spain recently, thanks to the situation that we had the last 2 years. And to be honest, I've been really happy riding around here. There's amazing, especially gravel roads on all over the Spanish country and the Canary Islands as well. I am seeking to go to the eastern side, like Albania, Montenegro, and all this. I was just there on a motor rally, documenting the motor rally, and I've just seen amazing roads, gravel roads, excuse me, and I'm going to Slovenia in August. If I should choose one place, I think I still stay with Arizona or Colorado. Like, America has an amazing land to discover. So,
right, folks, you got to get out there and check them. A lot of your content, and we spoke about it as well, like that you don't need to have this bike, you don't need to wait and save up until you have the new Canyon Grail. Like income or monetary shouldn't be a barrier for you getting out and exploring. And a lot of your videos and films, I see this kind of reoccurring theme that it really doesn't matter what bike you are, what age you are, what fitness level you are, or even one of your initiatives now I see that you have linked in your Instagram is the W camps, where you're really pushing like the inclusion of women in sport. So do you want to talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the W camps came because I've traveled a lot as well to the US, and I've seen a lot of the stuff that they are doing there, like amazing as well, like women camps and non-inclusive camps and everything. And I didn't saw any here, and I wanted to participate to some myself, and I couldn't find. So I thought to put out some gravel camp here, starting here in Girona, and this is something that is not ready 100% yet, but I think it will come in 2022. I've been super busy and other stuff, and unfortunately it got down one of my main sponsors in the beginning of, I stopped with one of my main sponsors, which I thought they will sort of help me to do the W camp. So that was why I stopped progressing on it. But basically, yeah, it's going to be a woman camp or for everybody who wants to come. And what I just want to show is that you can do a gravel adventure or a road adventure, no matter what you have and how you are, what you wear. You can, or everybody can do it. So I want to show that it's not that difficult, and I want to show how to use a camping stove and create an amazing meal in the middle of nowhere, and as well like hammock or tent or whatever you want. So,
but isn't that so cool about this whole adventure or bike packing or gravel movements? Like if you want to turn up to a road ride, and you're living in one of the nicest places in the world to road cycle, Girona. But if you want to turn up to a road ride, it's almost like there's so many barriers to entry, and you've all these sartorial barriers where your socks need to be a certain length, your socks need to be a certain color, the same as your helmet, your shoes need to look a certain way, you need to look a certain way, you need to have this certain etiquette. And if you don't have all these starting points, you're just immediately excluded from the group. But with this sort of stuff, like you could literally turn up wearing a 3-piece suit on the biggest piece of shit bike with your rucksack on your back, and everybody's going to welcome you in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, and especially here in Girona, like it's funny because a friend just the other day was like, oh, I don't know if to join this ride to Roccacova. And I was like, why? Roccacova is like one of the main climbs.
I hate that climb.
I've never done it before. And I live here and I'm from Spain, Barcelona, but I've never, whatever. I hate
Don't do it, it's shit. We have with Jay Vine on the podcast quite a bit. We're doing this like Neo Pro section with Jay Vine from Alpes and Phoenix, and he has the Strava record on Roccacova, and it's like, oh my God, that just sounds so painful.
I've done it by car a few times.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yes, I made it. But I've never done it by bike. And yeah, she was like, oh, I don't know if to go with these friends and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why? And she's like, oh, because maybe they're way too fast for me. And I was like, if you don't know and you don't go and experience it, you don't know. And if they're fast for you, they will wait for you. And the other way around, maybe you're the fast one and you will wait for them. But I am somebody who never thought that before. Like when I was living in Berlin, for example, they were super strict, like you say, the socks wide, the leg warmers can't be blah blah blah, and all these things. And I follow that because on the time I was a newbie and I did it. But I remember I was just showing up in this like crazy sprint rides, and I was dying, but and I ended up alone many times, but I just did it. It was it was like, I never thought about like, oh, if I stay alone, what happens? Like, it doesn't happen anything. You can just like, plug your route and go back home.
I also feel like 99% of people in this community are nice people, and they realize that they were also once a beginner and somebody had to wait for them. and
Exactly.
it's like pay it back now a little bit.
In surfing or skateboarding, you see a lot of this because you're in one spot, you know, like somebody is in the spot of surfing, and you see him struggling and catching bad waves or never arriving to the wave, and or I don't know, like eating a lot, and you're like, I was there one day, you know, like, and I relate that a lot, and now I finally can catch surf like a wave and just sort of surf. So just like, yeah, I don't know, I see myself in cycling the same, you know. I still remember the day I was like coughing and like completely red and nearly crying because I didn't understand what was happening with my body for an hour. And now I'm just like enjoying cycling, like no matter what, if you follow or nobody follows.
I especially don't get it. We've, like every country, we've this like hierarchical system within racing where you've category 4, 3, 2, 1. But there's such a snobbery as somebody moves up a category from Cat 4 to Cat 3. They almost like they're so self-congratulatory about going up a category, and they just like cast dispersions back down to the category below, like, oh, Fred's, like, look at them, they're so shit. But it should be like reaching a hand down to help pull people up. We've just got that part so wrong, and the adventure gravel culture seems to have got that part so right.
That's totally true. I think the good part is like the gravel is not that competitive. It's about it feels that it's about more exploration and just like opening your eyes and your everything to a new place, you know. Which I guess that's why I think gravel is sort of like it's what I most love so far.
And it seems to sit perfect with your kind of positioned as this storyteller. In Ireland, we have a word like Shanachie, and that's the Irish native language. It just means storyteller. So you'd be a Shanachie over here. But it's gravel seems perfect for this storytelling. Have you always been cast in that storyteller mold, or is this something new?
No, I've actually, I always loved it. But especially I think like gravel takes you to these places that you maybe don't reach with the road or with car or with anything else. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's just because of that or I don't know. But now I love it even more. I even went to this Albanian rally, and it was gravel, obviously, so it was perfect.
Oh, amazing. It sounds like you need to hire an editor, though. You're getting quite a backlog of stuff to edit.
I do need to hire an editor, but I don't know if it's more difficult to communicate to that editor or to do it myself.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. Before we wrap up, is there any big projects or plans you have for the rest of the year outside of locking yourself in the bedroom and editing?
Right now, well, I'm actually going to Mortzine next to Geneva, and this is for filming a little ambassador adventure for Komoot. So I'm really excited to work for them as a videographer now, and not a community manager. And then after that, I am going to Slovenia with 3 friends that we're creating a little more creative adventure where we will tell the story in 4 different ways. I will film, another one will photograph, then somebody will paint, another one will be the writer.
Oh, that's cool.
And I would really hope that after all this COVID situation, everybody's vaccine, we can do an exposition about this, because we want to sort of create a merge between artists. So this one is really exciting. And from then on, I have a bigger project that hopefully at the end of the year happens, because I had to cancel it. That's why I went to Madeira. But yeah, it's a multi-sport adventure as well.
Brilliant. And for anyone tuning in that wants to keep following your journey and listen about these adventures, where's the best places to keep up with you?
I pretty much use just Instagram. I don't go into very further from there, and YouTube now. And then, well, yeah, that's my main things. And any questions or anything, don't hesitate to also ask me.
Definitely worth a follow on Instagram. It's pure fire.
Thank you.
Sami, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you to you for having me, Anthony.
Thank you.